Well, greetings and welcome to our devotion time. We're going to continue with Abram here and continue with last time we were talking about this encounter Abram had once again with the Lord, where God made promises to Abram, 7 promises to Abram, and one of those being go to this land. And it's in there. It's like, I'm going to show you, as we continue on in this story, I'm going to show you this land that I've promised you and your descendants. And in a sense, this first promise is, in the revealing of it, is a down payment to the rest of the promises that God is giving to Abram. And Abram, in a sense, sees this fulfilled. And it's important that he see that as I assume like a down payment or an earnest. And the Lord added, in this encounter, one more, 8 promises to Abram. He promised to give this land that Abram was seeing to his seed. And think about this. I want us to take note of this, that this promise actually consists of 2 mutually dependent promises. First, that Abram, who was childless at the time, would have a seed, and second, that the seed of Abram would inherit this land that the Lord was showing Abram. And so it is that in the course of the opening here of Abram's story, we get a glimpse of the stage in which the Lord decreed the most significant occurrence in Scripture would be played out in this land. We're introduced along with Abram to that very special parcel of real estate, so to speak, that later generations would come to know as Israel. By the Lord's design, this seemingly insignificant parcel of land, not much bigger than the state of Vermont here in the United States, was destined to become the focal point of human history. It was back in Abram's day, and it still is today. Why is this parcel of real estate so important? Well, one reason is that the land we know of Israel was at the center of civilization at the time. It was a crossroad to world commerce. The 2 primary ancient roads from Mesopotamia, home of the Eastern Empire, Samaria, Syria, and Babylon, and to the North Africa was the other section, the Western Empire of Egypt, which somehow managed to, I guess you'd say, transcend all the other empires. This road passed right through Israel, and so it became a very important roadway. Maybe we call it a truck stop, but it was well traveled, and Israel seemed to be right in the middle of Africa, Asia, and Europe, and you had to pass through this tiny country, and it ended up becoming a center stage for all kinds of interactions in the world. Numerous decisive battles by world empires were fought in that area, and even more important than that is the strategic value is the fact that the Lord described this land in Scriptures as a land flowing with milk and honey. It was the center piece of His ministry to the world through salvation. God said of this parcel of land, I have placed my name here. And for this reason, as wonderful as the rest of creation is, as beautiful as other mountains and valleys may be, Israel is always to be cherished. At least that's the way Scripture's described it, and loved by those who love God. And some may question the Lord's timing in bringing Abram to this land and showing him the land of Canaan at the time of famine. If you pay attention to our reading here, there was a famine going on, and Abram is expected, God is saying, I expect you to take this land and to receive this land as a gift from me. God is showing him just the land that He's promising. We might think, well, why didn't he show them at the time when it was the land was lush, when there wasn't a famine, when it was there were fields, green fields and running streams? Well, the Lord wasn't trying to appeal to Abram's flesh, or if Abram was, or the fact that Abram wasn't really looking for real estate, but God was showing him what he was going to have, and so God wasn't a real estate agent trying to close a sale, nor was Abram a buyer hungry to talk about, to buy the tract of land of his dreams. The Lord at the time, I guess we could say, was a landlord already, working on evicting the previous holdover tenants of Canaan. The Lord is not really bringing Abram at the prime time that the land is there. He was moving out residents that had chosen sin over his righteousness, and because of that, they were being kicked out. And so here Abram is looking at this land, I guess we could say, in an uncomfortable time. The Lord wants Abram to see the land at its worst, not its best, and he intends to stir in Abram's heart a love for the land, not based upon outward beauty or productivity, but based upon its connection between the land and God. He wants Abram to love the land not because of its beauty or fruitfulness, although both of those are going to happen, but he wanted Abram to love the land because the Lord is present in a unique way there, and he's prepared it to be this special place of meeting with all those whom he makes a covenant with. That's the kind of the idea that we're getting in this scripture. And so there's our first promise laid out. And there, again, Abram worships God, and as our story continues next week, we'll see that he goes down south to Egypt, and we'll see the story there, and maybe some shortcomings of character flaws within Abram there as well. Well, I'm going to leave it there, and trust that God will speak to your heart and bless you today as you spend time with Him, and look forward to spending time with you and worshiping the Lord together Sunday as we gather together at Bethel or on the internet. Blessings. We'll see you soon. Bye now.